Boys, how we doing today? Let me make sure everything's set up. Audio should be good. All right, what's up, everyone? It is 6:15 Eastern Time. We have games starting in about an hour, a little under an hour. Pretty small slate today. We had a couple games earlier today. Honestly, most of those games were very boring. Nobody scored over 4 runs. I guess the most exciting part would have been the Twins going into the bottom of the 9th inning down 3 runs. And then with 2 outs, Cody Clemens grand slam to walk it off, which is pretty cool. But tonight we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3. We've got 6 games tonight. So we're going to try to hop on some money lines and maybe some over-unders. My assumption is that player props are going to be very scarce in terms of the value that we will see. But if we are doing straight bets over on Novig or other sports books, hopefully we can just squad ride a few of those. So yeah, small slate today, but we'll push through. We got a nice slate tomorrow. So yeah, let's get into it. We're going to be using OddsJam, of course. So I'm checking out the Fantasy Optimizer right now just to see if we do have any value on the board. Let's see. Let's check out Underdog. Which, by the way, I don't know how many of you guys have seen this yet. I don't really know what this is. I think this is what a lot of you guys were talking about, which is the Keep Your Million. If anyone in the chat wants to explain to me how this actually works, I would love to hear it, because right now I don't know exactly. The directions are not very clear. Choose a player to put your money on. Divide your cash between higher and lower. You keep the amount on the correct outcome. What does that mean, though? Like, is this saying that I get to choose whether I'm taking the higher or lower projection on that specific player? Like, it doesn't say. So what I'm assuming is it's like reverse streaks. If you guys don't know what streaks are, I don't have access to streaks anymore, but it's basically where you would pick 2 players, and if that 2-man cashed, then you can pick 1 additional pick, and every time you got it right, you were 1 step closer to turning, I think it was $10 into 10,000. So I think this is reverse. I think this is saying that you have $1 million, and then you have to get 20 picks right in a row, and every time you miss one, your $1 million gets cut in half. I think that's what I'm getting from this. I literally don't know. This is only available on my phone too, so I can't like pull it up and show you guys on the stream. But if anyone wants to further explain that to me, I'd be very appreciative. So let's look at Underdog real quick. If you guys didn't see, there's also new payouts, which aren't crazy. It's nothing, life-changing. Four picks are now paying out 12x, which is nice. It's an improvement from 10x, but if you do the math on it, a 4-pick paying out 12x is minus 116 implied odds per leg, and if we were to run 2 legs, it is minus 115, so it's a little bit better. You guys can see right there, 4-man non-insured is now minus 116, so it's slightly worse than just running a 2-pick power. We are going to go ahead and run this little 2-pick with some WNBA. So we've got the under PRA at 30.5 for Angel Reese, and we're going to pair this up with Sabrina Ionescu, under 23.5 points and rebounds. All right, nice little 2-pick there on Underdog, just to snag a little bit of value. Get this in the chat for you guys. Nice little 3% positive EV play. And by the way, guys, if you do want to check out the OddsJam tools, as I'm going to go over during the stream, as you guys see every single day, you guys can click the link that is going into the chat now. You guys can go over to OddsJam and use code Trident. Get yourself a free trial to check some of these tools out. So that way, even when I'm not streaming, you can start getting plays in. Whether that's the Fantasy Optimizer or the Positive EV tool, you guys can check it out. All right. So we're going to log this. We've got our 2-pick power in here over on Underdog. Let's check out Better. I've yet to use this boost for today. I've got a 25% MLB boost token. This Mike Yastrzemski prop has been on the board for a while. So we can definitely toss this in to our slip. Try to build out something for just MLB. Let's see. Let's go over to the Braves game. Hits. Here he is. Boom. All right, so Yastrzemski over 0.5 hits. We're going to filter this by MLB to see if we can get any other plays in here as well. Kane, what's up, dude? Okay, so this underdog one just bumped as well. Let's go back over to better. All right, we're going to take JP Crawford over 0.5 hits. And then let's look at... I'm going to pull up the Sharp Money tool just because I want to see if there may be a little bit better value than the other plays that we see there. Sharp Money, anything on better? This Camilo Cardoso plays nice. Minus 119 on Prize Picks. Not available on better. Over PRA. Interesting. Okay, so there's a 1 PRA discrepancy there. Yeah, we're on better right now. Trying to cook something up. Let's see. Let me check out the low hold tool, actually. Let me take a look at this. Game alert, Marlins and Mets will be delayed due to inclement weather. Okay. Good to know, good to know. Better picks. All right, we're looking for MLB. Anything that looks a little bit better? Probably not. Nolan McLean over 4.5 hits allowed. Would it be a bad idea to tell the props on the sportsbook odds screen? Not all of them, but the ones that show Polymarket has the best odds and then is favored by other sharp books. To a degree, yes. Specifically with Polymarket, I would be very cautious of. And what I'm assuming you're referring to is like going to the sportsbook screen and then just seeing anything that says best odds on Polymarket, right? Like, for instance, the Phillies Orioles, right? The thing that I would say to be cautious about is that, remember, okay, sportsbooks limit profitable players and sharp players over time. Therefore, they go to exchange markets and these prediction markets, okay? So you can't always just say, ooh, Polymarket has the best odds, I'm going to go take that. I would look further into it with line movement and stuff. I personally like using Polymarket as a good book to see where sharp money is going and not using it as a book to take plays on. So it's a little bit, I don't know, I would be cautious, okay? Because you don't want to see, Polymarket has a 15-cent edge over every other book and then just nuke it because it's like, oh, there's value there, I would definitely look to see, the liquidity coming in on either side there. I appreciate what you do for the community. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Better value cooked. So ready for NFL. Yeah, me too. Let's try to find a third leg for this little MLB parlay. I think we may have to take this Grant McCray play. So this will be in the Giants game. Total bases for McCray. Man, better is really pissing me off, honestly, with how they are capping my stuff. I don't know what 25% of, like, it's more than 31 bucks, right? And like it's been showing $31 added on like the other ones too when I do like 100% boosts. It's ridiculous. I'm very excited for NFL season. Which, is that true? Is this the last Thursday that we have without football? I think the Hall of Fame game is next Thursday, which I don't know how many people are going to be watching the Hall of Fame game, but I'm pretty sure that football is right around the corner. And when football is around the corner, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be so fun because we're in this era now where like they are essentially like making Sundays not sacred anymore for football. Like we've got Thursday night football, Monday night football. You're going to start having games on other weekdays as well. So I'm super stoked for our weekday streams. We're going to be locking in a lot of value. And then on top of that, hopefully figuring out which app allows correlation the most. Because as you guys know, correlation, as long as the payouts aren't, completely cooked from it, then correlation is going to be extremely profitable, as it has been in previous seasons. Okay. Very first regular season game is on a Wednesday. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. It's crazy. I remember when it was like you had Monday Night Football and then like the other, however many games were all on Sunday. And then they added Thursday Night Football. And then now we're freaking branching off into even more days, which I can't say I'm going to complain about it because, like the more football I have on different days, the better. But like part of me liked being able to sweat out, 7 games at once at 1 o'clock on a Sunday, and then look forward to like, the MAC football on like a Wednesday night or something where you have like these college football games throughout the week. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be a change for sure. Let's go over to the Sharp Money tool. Also, I want to let you guys know that the Prediction Traders tool has 297 out of 100 scores. I am not sure how I feel about either one of these. And I don't mean that by like saying, oh, I don't think these teams are going to win. But when I go over to Polymarket to actually look, some of our whales are on the opposite side. So, and if this is your first stream, did I not send the better link? Thought I did. Thought I dropped it in the chat. Yeah, I did. Oh, it didn't get over to YouTube. It went out to Twitch, though. I just resent it. College already started to be like every day. There's yeah. Pretty much every single day for college. That's what's nice, though. That's nice. Like, I can enjoy that. I don't mind sitting down to watch freaking Northern Illinois. Like, I don't mind that at all. So look, we're gonna do this. I was gonna show you guys if this is your first stream here. First off, make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow wherever you're watching. Right. What I like to do is I like to look at these Prediction Traders plays, and I like to go over to Polymarket to actually see who has liquidity where. Right. So if we come down here to our top holders, we can look to see who's holding shares of what. Right. So we have Giants and Padres. Giants is the play here as the 97 out of 100 score on the Prediction Traders tool. And if we look, we do have a top trader here that has 440,000 shares on the Giants. We have another profitable trader, which we see a lot, that has a lot of shares on the Padres, which definitely concerns me a little bit. Home Run Hazard, we've already looked at before. He's somebody who's profitable on MLB long term, and so is Ferrari Champions. So this is one that I would probably fade. Now, that's not saying that Giants money line is not going to hit. However, my, process includes me looking at the Prediction Traders tool and then also looking at Polymarket to see if there are certain traders that I like to tail who have a lot of liquidity on the game. Okay, so same concept here. We can go over to the Nationals game versus the Braves. And I'm not saying one side or the other is guaranteed to win. But once again, we see our guy Ferrari on the Braves. Not a great sign. But we also have Wordy over here who has the most shares on the Nationals. So Wordy's on the Nationals and the Padres. So he's split 50-50 among these. Ferrari's on the opposite side of both of them. I don't know. I think that I might watch it a little bit closer as we approach game time. But that's just something that I like to consider. I like to take that into account. So let's go over to the Positive EV tool. We're going to take a look, maybe get something in over on Novig potentially. We'll take a look. We'll see what we got over here. So I'm going to sort this by event. So that way we have the newest stuff pulling up first. And let's take a look at this. All right, so we've got Nolan McLean, under 6.5 strikeouts. Let's see if we can look at some line movement here. Am I doing any prize picks? There was the one prize picks prop that looked decent, but especially with a small slate, I do not expect us to have enough value to get a full slip in, unfortunately. Let's see. Grant Holmes, I'll skip. How about this one? How about the over 9.5 runs for the Nationals and Braves game? So I like that we have minus 113 here. It's definitely a really good price point compared to the rest of the market. You guys can see minus 127 down here on Pinnacle. And then we have several other exchange markets and prediction markets that have this over minus 120. So really good at minus 113. I'm curious to see what some of the line movement looks like here. If it'll load. Yeah, so slowly coming down, which is what we want to see. Remember, the top up here is going to be plus money. Down here is going to be minus money. So essentially, we have more money coming in on the, what am I viewing here? The over. So that's a good sign. And then also I wanted to come over to Polymarket just to see at that 9.5 point if any of our traders are on it. So home runs on the under. And one thing that I will notice is like you guys can see the amount of shares that they have. And like even though our guy over here is on the under, we may go to his account and see that he is arbitrage betting, right? Like these are not nukes. We just looked at the money line. If we were to go back to the money line, look how many shares people are buying, right? So this is something that I take into account a little bit more than just the over under. There's not a whole bunch of volume here. I'm cool with taking the over on this. I do like everything about it in terms of the line movement and the price point here. So I'm going to do this. We're going to go over to Novig. Okay, we're going to go over to Novig, and we're going to take this at minus 113. All right, this is telling me to put 230 on it, which is going to be about 1.15 units. So what is Novig talking about down here? Are we serious? We've got games starting in 30 minutes, and your trading is unavailable for maintenance? Are you serious? Come on, bro. Are we serious right now? Novig, what are we doing? It's hard for me to take an over considering the games that we've seen earlier today, and then like it feels like these balls are just dead. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed. I saw Junior Caminero hit 108 off the bat. I was sure it was gone, and it was a flyout. It's just crazy. It's like the ball just died midair. It's crazy. Any money lines or spreads? Yeah, we're going to look at stuff as we go down the list. Right now, I want to get this in over on Novig, but it looks like their trading is unavailable for maintenance, which it feels like every time I see that message, it's always in the worst time. Like, we have games starting within the hour, and trading is unavailable. I don't know why we can't do this at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever. Scheduled maintenance. Let's see if we can find anything else. We'll definitely have to come back to this, because I'd like to get that over in. Let's see, what else do we have here? 114. Plus 102. Marlins. I can take a look at some of these Polymarket. Just see who's on what. So this is the game that's going to be a little bit delayed. 36K of volume on the money line. Not a ton. We have Moose and Ferrari on the Mets, which is interesting. Not a great read there on the Marlins Mets, that's for sure. Let's see. Pirates Reds. 114. Get 62K on the money line. Let's see who we would take here. Ferrari. This is interesting. A lot of like the main guys that I like to look at and tail are on opposing sides with these games today. And I noticed that with the earlier games as well, actually. See how there's just not a lot of volume on these later games? The Giants-Padres one has good volume, but these other ones don't. So it's not really a great indicator of where we should have our money. What about the Nerfy here? What do we want to do? This kind of sucks that Novig is down. There's no timetable for when this is going to be over either. Insane. Guess we could look at some WNBA. What do we have? 2 games? 3 games tonight? Novig just asked you to update and yours works? Does it really? I wonder if it would work on my phone. I also don't know how to update it if it's just on the website, you know? I don't know how to force an update. Let's take a look. Still says it. I'm on my phone right now. It just asked to update. Let me see if I can get it in over here. Over 9.5 at 2:30. Maintenance. Yeah, I tried to submit it. It said maintenance still. Brutal. So even on my phone, it's not going to work. How much liquidity do you personally want to see home run Hazard throw on a bet before you decide to tail? Great question. A lot of times I kind of just like to look at his account and just see like what their usual size is. But like the one, here, I'll pull this up as well. This website. Nope, not that website. So like he's number 8. He's in the top 10 for baseball. Obviously profit loss, but like with win rate over 55, nearly 56% as well. I mean, I sometimes will just compare it to the rest of his value. So like for example here, like I know it's a money line play, but like Braves money line at 51 cents, he's got over 8 grand on, which I would say is a strong play. You know, if we look at like, it's like Braves White Sox, right? Or sorry, Braves Nationals. Is it not going to show us that? What do I have to type in? Braves versus Washington. Who are they playing tonight? Or is this just he has stuff on a different game? That's what it is. But like a few $1,000s is like, you know, good liquidity, because you'll notice that some of these guys just don't have heavy liquidity on certain props. You know, they've got a few $100s or whatever. Like there's plenty of these that like, and yes, some of them are going to be arbitrage bets, but that's typically why I like to go to their account. So for example, let's look at, I assume this is for the Dodgers game tonight, right? So if we go to Dodgers, right, and search that up, so we can see that he's got a little bit of both sides. He's got over 8 grand on the Dodgers though. And you'll notice that like on certain props for certain games, he just has one side, you know, and there's no arbitrage. And yes, there could be arbitrage on other platforms as well, but we're still looking at a 55.9% win rate across, you know, across baseball with, you know, 20,000 positions taken into account. So stuff like this, if we were to go over to like the MLB category, which I don't even know, can I do that? Can I look at a leaderboard by category? I don't know if I can. Like RN1's another one that we always look at. clearly arbitrage for some of these things, categories. You know, we can see sports. They're better at tennis and all this stuff. I mean, number one in so many of these ranks. And then we look at Swiss Tony. We look at who's the other one I just mentioned that we were looking at earlier? Ferrari. Wherever his name is. What's his name again? Ferrari Champions. I think it's this one. Yeah. So then we can like see his profit on like categories. So like right now he's ranked number 1 for baseball. You can see gains and losses here, win rate. It's pretty good stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what I like to look at. I would say anytime you have, you know, a few $1,000s on something, like it's definitely a good read. As far as like these guys, and you know, we're looking at, this is not short term, right? We're looking at long-term success here. So let's see. Still down for maintenance, of course. Typical for me to choose this time to stream, and Novig wants to launch maintenance. What's up? I've been a long time away from me on the streams. I noticed you're on Polymarket and Novig way more than Underdog, Better, and Prize Picks these days. Is that where the money's at? Great question. Honestly, it's a very good question. The biggest thing is with baseball season, you will notice that there is a lot less value available on DFS apps. And I mean that from like a positive EV perspective, because you don't have every single sportsbook creating lines for both overs and unders. So if we were to go over to DraftKings right now, you would notice that, hey, if we are going to go take, you know, if we want to look at 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for Fernando Tatis, right? DraftKings is going to show us an over price and an under price. We have double-sided odds. Therefore, we can actually derive a true probability for the over and the under to hit. However, if you were to go over to an app like FanDuel or some of these other sports books, they only have odds on the over because baseball is so built for like these like same game parlays where somebody can just click, you know, 2+ hits, runs, and RBIs. So it's very hard to get a ton of different data points on specific props. And we also have to think like with baseball, there's not as many markets to bet on. I mean, you have your strikeouts, you have your hits, runs, and RBIs, your total bases, right? But then we think about, you know, stuff like NBA, right? I talk about NBA all the time. Why is basketball so profitable? Well, it's because you have all the different sports books that are making double-sided individual price points for both points, rebounds, assists, and then you can get into combinations of that stuff where you have points and rebounds, and points, rebounds, and assists. And then there's three-pointers, there's steals, all of those different markets. Same thing with football season. We have a lot of different markets with NFL. So because there's not as many markets and because there's not as many data points, there's not going to be as much value on the DFS apps because a lot of that is just player props. So you'll see me on Polymarket and Novig getting in straight bets a lot more with baseball season because there is value from that. I can sit here and I can look at the line movement. I can see where the sharp money is coming in. And it doesn't have to be a player prop that I'm taking. I can go ride a money line or over-under on total runs, you know, stuff like that. So that's the main thing. But as we move into football season, you'll definitely see those DFS apps start to come back into the picture just because there is going to be more value on them. And also, we've talked in the past about how a lot of these apps actually allow for more value to get on the board, at least during the front part of the season, because they want more users on their site. So we may see that with Prize Picks, with Better, where they're a little bit more lenient on what's available on the board, which should allow us should allow for us to get in a lot of plays. So it's a great question, but that hopefully answers that. I'm taking a look here at this Rhett Lauder prop, under 4.5 strikeouts. Still really close to Polymarket and DraftKings in terms of the price point here, but I'm kind of liking, it looks like this line's coming down toward the under. Yeah, it's minus 107 over on Bet 105. It's coming down a little bit in the last hour or so.
I say we get in on this prop. Okay? And once again, it's over on Novig. My goodness, this is going to be tough. Novig has been extremely profitable for me, I will say. This is just really tough now because we have maintenance going on. That's a good explanation. Awesome. I'm glad that helps. Because, yeah, I understand that it's like, this dude used to post all the DFS stuff on Prize Picks, and now he's just, all on Novig. It's like, well, there's a reasoning behind it. It's not just me abandoning these other apps. It's part of what happens during the summer months when we just have baseball, essentially. We've got a whole lot of Novig value right now that I want to get in, and I can't because of the update, which is extremely frustrating. I wish it said, like, maintenance will be over in 20 minutes. Nope. I don't want to sit here and just go over hypothetical plays that we don't ever end up getting in. Sharp money on the Reds. Plus 110 is a really good price point on the Reds money line today. Let me go see this real quick. I can't remember if I looked at this or not. I don't know if Polymarket's going to give us enough of a read here. Because I want to say this was one of the games that didn't have a whole bunch of volume. So Ferrari's on the Reds. Monkey and Wordy are both on the Pirates. I think I'm going to be all right with taking this. I mean, we're not looking at a whole bunch of shares here. There's not like one whale that's nuking this game. But plus 110 is going to be the best odds in the market right now for the Reds. Is the line moving this way? I'm going to go over to Fliff to potentially get this in. See if this loads real quick. Still at plus 110 on Fliff. Let me reload this again. Looks like it was... FanDuel, Pinnacle's coming out. Okay, yeah, we're going to take this. Yeah. All right, so let's go over to... this is going to be a light play. Nothing crazy. This will be literally 0.6 units. We're going to go take the Reds money line, okay? So I just got this in at plus 110. I'm putting 120 on it, or 0.6 units. I actually like that play. So we're going to be rooting for the Reds tonight. Not a whole bunch of information that's going to be like taking me off of that play. It looked like line movement's heading toward Cincinnati, and then on top of that, we're getting the best price in the market. So, did y'all see the Pearsall news? No? What happened to Pearsall? Hold on. Let me send this out. I need to check what news we're talking about. What happened to Ricky? All right, Fliff. Plus 110, taking this at 0.6 units. Very small play. If you guys are not already signed up on Fliff, you guys can get signed up with code TRIDENT. TRIDENT. What else do we have here? Sharp money. That's on which app? Fliff. Sorry, I know it went off as soon as I logged it. Yeah, it's going to be over on Fliff. Plus 110 on Fliff. Let me look up what happened to Ricky Pearsall. Why am I not seeing anything? Let's see. Chris Olave signed. Sweet. Bro. Ricky Pearsall knee update? At this point, I think it's reasonable, rational, logical for the 49ers to not expect Ricky Pearsall to make any contribution in 2026. No shot. I saw the stuff about Chris. How do you pronounce it? Brazel? Brazel? Season-ending torn LCL. And then now Pearsall might not play. That's crazy, dude. That's so crazy. And then the stuff the other day was Shamar Stewart. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. These teams are going to look a lot different by game 1. All right. Novig, if you guys keep undergoing maintenance in literally prime time trading hours, we're going to have a problem. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff, bro. I can't just sit here on stream and just say, hey, we're going to take this. When we don't know. We don't know if we're going to be able to get it in. Maybe another underdog play, potentially. And that's the other reason I will say. With, like, underdog specifically, because of their payouts on 2 pick powers, I can open up the optimizer at most times, right? And I can get enough value for a good plus EV 2 pick power. But when it comes to prize picks or better, I either need really good value to squeeze out a 3-man, or I need a lot of value for like a 6-man parlay or a 5-man parlay. So that's what also makes it a little bit difficult. Because if the best slip type is a 6-pick flex and there is, 8 MLB games on for the whole day, there's not a whole bunch of value there. It's just how it is, unfortunately. Let's look at pick 6. We might have some luck over here. It looks like there's a lot of WNBA. I might have to use one of my boosts for it to be like a good play. Let's see. Stat Slice. That's right. I forgot we have Stat Slice today. That's why all of these are on the board. Okay. All right. So we're going to take Asia Wilson over PRA. Then we've got Stewart, Collier, and Mabry over points. Let's go look at this. I got to sort this, right? Or I got to filter this out somehow. We got good props in here for Friday. We got to play the same day stuff. So we want to take over assists for Chelsea Gray. And then we want to take Natasha Howard over 23.5. I've got a quick question, by the way, for anybody who's in the chat. This is so off topic. Weird. Hold on. Hunter Green has a 50-50 chance to be traded. Okay. By the way, from what I've seen, and not that it's a surprise or anything, Skubal, he's out. He's out of Detroit. He's probably going to go to like the Dodgers or something. It'll be ridiculous. But anyways, not what I was going to ask. Super off topic. But if anybody, I want to know if anybody in the chat is good, either really good with video editing or knows video editing software that will make things a lot easier. I think there's a lot of like AI video software now, or video editing software that makes it super easy to like put in your raw footage and then it'll like cut it up for you. I don't know. Trying to figure something out to relieve some of the workload off of the video editing, so that way I can provide more content for you guys to help you guys all be better at sports betting. Anyways, Natasha Howard, we're taking the under 23.5 PRA, and then we're also, let's see, we could run that 5.5x with the discount. That's a profitable play. I think I got to run that, and then we can maybe look at something else. Let's just run this. All right. So we're capped at $10. Who cares? 5.5x to 5.2. Why? Oh, because we got Chelsea Gray in here mixed with Asia. Okay, fine. Then we'll take Asia Wilson, or sorry, we'll take Chelsea Gray over 6.5, and then we'll put in Brianna Stewart over for her discount. That should be fine. 5.4x. Why? Because it's the same game? What is this? Are you telling me I got to take Collier over points? I guess. Slightly better than the Mabry prop. Okay, whatever. I hate that. Like, there's no correlation there. It's basketball. You're going to say, oh, you can't do it. It's going to be, you're going to get your payout cut down. Whatever. All right, there's the link for that. Sending that out in the chat over on Twitch and YouTube. Let me get this sent out in the Discord as well. Remember, if you guys are not already in the Discord, it's free to join. Pick 6. This is for the WNBA promo. And I will send the Discord link out to the chat as well. So you guys have that. Use Collier? We did. That's what we did. Slightly better than the Mabry prop in that Toronto Tempo game. That's apparently what we needed, so that way we didn't get our payout nerfed, unfortunately. When's the trade deadline? Isn't it like the 3rd or like the 6th? I don't know. It's coming up in the next week. All right, let's take a look at... Let me go back over to Novig. Ooh, is maintenance done? Could maintenance potentially be done? This is at minus 120 now? You're joking. I'm going to make a market. Maintenance is over. Let's go. All right, we're top of book if we want to all make an order here. This is top of book, offering the best price for the under 9.5 at plus 113. But yeah, our freaking minus 113 volume got taken. So somebody else took all that volume. And I think there was like a few grand available there. So somebody is also taking the over. Yeah, we got to get this back. We're top of book, so hopefully we can get this in. This is still a good play. I want to take this over. Probably the best play that we saw on the board. Let me go look at those other ones as well. This Rhett Lauder prop. What did we see this at? I thought this had good value on it earlier, but I think the line has changed now. Plus 101 on Jake Irvin over strikeouts. This is interesting. Let's look at some line history here. That one's going the opposite direction. Braves money line? Yeah, I don't know, dude. I keep seeing things split. Prediction traders tool pull up Nationals money line. I saw a couple of the MLB whales over on Braves money line, so I'm torn. I'm cool with just rooting for a high scoring game at this point. Not even worrying about rooting for either side. What was the other prop that we looked at? JP Sears under strikeouts. Plus 100. This is interesting. No longer top of book. Somebody's trying to get in at minus 115. Crap, dude. We had a good price point, and they freaking screwed us by doing their stupid maintenance. Minus 117 on DK predictions. I played it there. Might be the best price. Might not be. DK predictions I'm usually cautious about. We just got a match. Sick. All right. Usually I'm cautious about it just because DK Predictions has fees. So sometimes the fees, when you work those in, the price point's not the best. Yeah, let me post this real quick. So we're getting in, this is on Novig. We're taking minus 113 on the over 9.5 at 1.15 units. I know it's kind of hard to do math on if you're not, you know, $100 better or a $10 better, something with a nice even number. So I apologize. You can just put a unit on it. It's not the end of the world. Thoughts on underdog limits? Are you just talking about being limited on the app? Because I am, and it sucks. But for me, my approach to it is I've got $25 or I have a $75 daily limit and I have a $25 max wager on one single play. So I just try to put 3 plays in a day and just get my volume in that way. Typically it's with 2-mans just because at this point of the year, there's not a whole bunch of value for me to just rip 6-mans, although that would be my approach. Because even though it's not the best implied odds, it's slightly worse. And as somebody who only has access to 3 plays a day, you're giving yourself a higher ceiling, essentially, by going for a 6-man. As long as the value's there. You know, don't force a 6-man if there's not value for it. I need to stay away from these 15.5 pitching outlines, dude. I just cannot stand them. Cannot stand them. This is interesting. I wonder if we can get McLean over K's at a good price. This is the under. What's the best price for the over? Minus 102. See, you could make a market on Novig at minus 102, offering the best odds on the under. That's like a make market that I would be very intrigued with taking. Okay, so here's that over 9.5. It's at minus 108 now? What in the world? Why is it moving away? Minus 113 sucks. Minus 108 would have been a way better price point. Jeez, there's heavy money coming in now. On both sides, really. Jeez. Okay. Well, might not be beating closing line value with that one, unfortunately. Can you go back to underdog? Need one more leg? Let's see. Let's see if we got anything over here. Ooh. Oh, yeah. This is a great prop. Nick Kurtz. Under 1.5 total bases. Are you bumped? Yeah, you are. Underdog has upgraded their system, man. I'm telling you. They have upgraded their system. Dang, I'm kind of pissed that we didn't get a better price now. That over. If you do need a replacement, you gotta run one of these WNBA props. Morrow under PRA. Jessica Lynn Shepard over PRA. Cardoso under RA. Those are all good options. Those are all profitable. It is 7 o'clock. Games start in less than 10 minutes. There's no bumps on WNBA 4-man Coros on underdog right now. That's actually cool news, considering how sensitive they are to correlation. But, I mean, basketball correlation is, like, so subjective, you know? So subjective. Like, I wouldn't want to run these props, right? Like, you could say, like, oh, what if the Chicago Sky win by 20 or get blown out? Then both of these girls might go under. Yeah, but what if Sydney Taylor goes, you know, bricks all of her shots, and then Cardoso grabs a ton of offensive rebounds, right? But then also you could just say, like, okay, well, forget rebounds. What if she just goes under assists? All of her potential assists to Sydney Taylor are bricks. Yeah, okay. That's, you know, possibility, right? I would say the main thing that you could do for like subjective correlation is just like several girls overs or unders on PRA, same team, or like same team over points over assists, or opposite team under points over rebounds. There's ways to do that. You know, there's ways to get correlated slips with basketball. See, like, we could try to run something there. Nothing, man. We got nothing. Yeah, man, I miss NBA season. It's just so much value, man. So much value. Ugh. That was like so painful, honestly, as like we were in the playoffs and like the amount of games started going down, and then you get to the finals, it's like, oh, we're at the finals, and you're like, oh, how exciting, and then you realize like I have one game to bet on every 2-3 days. So brutal. Yeah, NBA is fun, man. I'm really excited. Like, I think that honestly, how the summer has gone so far is really, really good, considering the fact of like the challenges that we have up against us in terms of like it's just baseball. There's not a whole bunch of value. We've found value. We've had a profitable summer, and now we have some momentum going into the football season with a positive bankroll. Obviously, positive bankroll is a stupid way to say that. With a bankroll that has more money than when we first got into the summer, right? So we made money over a summer, and now we can go in with momentum towards football season, and then when we make it back around to basketball, like that's like the fun part of the year, you know? So because I say that because there has been years in the past where I go into the summertime and it's like, awesome, I'm ready to make a ton of money, and I either lose a little bit or just like have no real progress with my bankroll. And then it just feels like, all the time that you put in on a day-to-day basis trying to find value is kind of just gone to waste, So I'm glad the summer's been successful, and I'm excited for football season. Because to me, football is so much like, considering how I've grown up and like what I've always watched, like football season is more than just betting to me. Whereas baseball, although I can have fun watching baseball, like I think baseball is a cool sport, I really only started to learn how baseball works because of sports betting, if that makes sense, and not the other way around. So I love baseball now. I think over the last few years, like I've really enjoyed watching baseball and sweating baseball. But like I think what I'm trying to get at is like, if I weren't betting on baseball, I would not have as much joy watching it. That's just the truth. Whereas I could definitely sit down and watch a full football game, and I don't have to have any money on the game at all. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe I'm a gambling addict, but that's just how I view it. Baseball is not the best. However, there are highlights in baseball that are extremely fun to watch. Gosh, I know you guys saw that clip, the freaking Jordan's home run the other night, or last night, I think. Gosh, dude, the sound of that bat. Oh my gosh. For those of you guys who've played the show and have heard, the sound that makes when you hit a perfect. I mean, it was identical. It was so good. Absolutely insane. I'm learning more of baseball through betting, but football I enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people are that way, and I honestly think that there's a lot of people who have that same exact mindset and completely reverse. Maybe they don't enjoy football just watching it, but they can sit down and watch a full 9-inning baseball game without having anything on the game whatsoever. But yeah, I would agree. I think most of us love football too, and actually truly love the game instead of just betting on it. Even though we can make money betting on it, of course. What do we want to do here with this prop? This is intriguing. Plus 104. I'm going to pull this up over on Novig as well, actually. I want to just see the order book on it. I might snag this. There's not a whole bunch of... What is this? Natasha Howard under? Didn't we just take... Yeah, we took her under PRA. I might double down on this and snag this at plus 104 over on ProfitX. Yeah. I'm going to be a degenerate. Play some WNBA player props. Let me put the link for this. I don't even know. Some of you guys have said that these don't work, but I'm going to post it in the chat anyways and see if it does. All right, so 310. Let's do quick math. What's 310 divided by 2? 310 divided by 2. What is that? 155, so 1.55 units. Yeah. See, I got it. That's quick math. All right, I'm taking that over on ProfitX. Natasha Howard under PRA. We're big Natasha Howard haters tonight. We did already take the under 23.5 over on Pick 6. So, going to be first year watching football. Always been a soccer and NBA guy. Slowly got into MLB and now football. That's honestly wild that football is like the last sport you're getting into. And I think I'm saying that just because it's like the complete opposite for me. Like for me, it was football. Then I got into basketball, which is another sport that I kind of usually just pay attention to, like truly watch whenever we get to like the playoffs or if like the Miami Heat are like doing good. Then I got into soccer and then I got to baseball. So I don't know. I think everyone has their own journey of getting into sports, which I think is cool. I think that's what makes sports fun. You know, I think it adds an extra layer. I have ProfitX available in my state, but not Novig or Fliff, unfortunately. Is that comparable for your plays? Yes. You just have to make sure you're still getting a good price point. The one thing that I will say is that among the exchange markets and the prediction markets, ProfitX is probably bottom of the totem pole in terms of popularity, which means a couple of things. Number one, you could actually have a lot more success there because you are setting markets. So for instance, if I were to have just played, you know, the I don't know, let's just take the over 9.5 that we played on the Braves game. If you were to go over to ProfitX and try and make a market at the exact same price point and have that get filled, then that's a good sign. But I would definitely be cautious of, like, you can see the little numbers here, like the liquidity. You don't have an order book essentially, but you can still see the liquidity on either side, and you don't want to be taking liquidity on a side that is like absolutely nuked, right? Because then you can have sharps who are taking stuff on ProfitX who you don't want to be going directly against, right? 7:12. Do we have anything real quick? We've been live for an hour. These games are about to start. I'll just kick back and watch some baseball. You know what? There's a good chance. I won't say a good chance. I don't want to like leave y'all with this, but at 9:40, we've got 3 games starting then, right? So that's in 2 hours. We're going to see some more line movement and probably some more liquidity come in over on Polymarket for us to use as a good indicator on which side we want to be on. Last night, I know I sent out the under in the Angels-Astros game, which that was a brutal beat. I mean, we had 9 runs up until the 8th inning, I think. So that was brutal. That one was close. But anyways, what I'm getting at is that there is a good possibility that I end up sending out another play tonight. Could be on Novig, could be on something else. Whatever has the best price, obviously. But for one of those 3 games, I may have something. So just keep that in mind. That's going to do it for the stream, guys. So I know I don't have a lot for you guys. We had to wait a good amount for the for Novig maintenance to be over with. Tomorrow we do have an early game at 2 o'clock Eastern time, and then there's nothing on until about 6 o'clock. So the main slate doesn't really start until 7, though. So what I will say is that whenever that Pirates-Reds game starts around 6 o'clock tomorrow, I might be going live around that time. So we'll have a game on, and then we'll start focusing on the rest of the slate tomorrow. It looks like we have some WNBA tomorrow night as well. So hopefully we get in some good value then. So make sure to set your alarms. Probably aim for a evening stream tomorrow. Good luck on all your plays. Hopefully the ones that we went over in stream today end up cashing. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, peace out.